Hi YouTube! In this video I want to show you a very stylish phone that I got from eFox. This phone is called the MLAIS M7. It comes in a cyan box like this one with some specs on the back that are actually correct. It comes with a 5V USB wall charger. Of course it also comes with a micro USB data and charging cable. A very short English instruction manual, and they also include some goodies like a tempered glass screen protector, and last but not least it also comes with a very cool flip case which is actually a smart cover. This phone has a 5.5 inch capacitive 5-point multi-touch screen with a 720 by 1280 HD pixel resolution. It is an IPS display, it looks like a one glass solution, and they also claim that it has a Gorilla Glass. It has the MT6752 64-bit Octa-Core SOC clocked at 1.7 GHz. It has 3 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal memory, and it also supports TF cards. Right now it is running on Android 5.0 Lollipop. It is a Quadband, it is totally unlocked, and it also supports 3G and 4G/LTE. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, AGPS, it also supports GLONASS and BEIDOU. It has a G sensor, a proximity sensor, a light sensor, a magnetic field sensor, and it also has a Hall sensor, which is needed for the smart cover. It supports USB on the go, it supports firmware updates over the air, it has off-screen gestures, and it also has a very good fingerprint scanner. It has two cameras, one main camera with a 13 megapixel output, autofocus and LED flash, and it's an f2.8. and one front-facing camera with a 5 megapixel output, and it's also a f2.8. Of course, this phone is a dual SIM, dual standby phone. It weighs about 164 grams and it's about 8.7 millimeters thick. Let's take a closer look at the phone. We have the front-facing camera right here, proximity and light sensor right there. The home, back and menu buttons are soft touch buttons and they light up nicely. On the bottom we can find a microphone, and as you can see it has a very nice looking aluminum frame. So on the left side we have a volume rocker and a power button. On the top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack and the USB port. Nothing on the right side. On the back we can see the main camera and LED flash. This is your fingerprint scanner. We have an MLAIS logo, and this is your speaker. Now the back side has a matte finish so it won't attract many fingerprints. And if I can get this open for you, I can show you the inside of the phone. Let's take a look. On the inside we can see that it takes two SIM cards, one regular size SIM card and a micro SIM card. It also has a TF card slot, and this is supposed to be a 2600 mAh battery. Like always, I installed additional apps and games for demonstration purposes. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment sections below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to find out more, please stay tuned. The stock launcher is very fast and it's very snappy. I wasn't able to notice any lag at all. The firmware is very clean, there is absolutely no bloatware installed whatsoever. But let me start by going into the settings. Let me scroll all the way down. Let's check out about the phone. As we can see, it's running on Android 5.0, and we can also find the wireless updates right here. I really can't say if that's working or not because my phone currently is up to date. Let's go back into the settings. Let's check out the languages and input. Let's see which languages are supported on this firmware right now. Let me just scroll through them. There you have it. Those are all the installed languages on this firmware. Next up, let's check out some off-screen gestures, and as we can see you can double tap to wake, and we can also draw different symbols to start different apps. Let's just give it a try. Let me turn off the screen and let me double tap, and it's waking up, so that's working just fine. And let's do another test. Let me draw a C, and that should start the camera app, and it's also working just fine. Let's go back into the settings. Next up we have a fingerprint scanner. You can register up to 5 fingerprints, and let's just give it a try. Let's do a fingerprint unlock. We have the fingerprint scanner right here. Let me turn off the screen. Let me turn on the screen, and let's give it a try. And it's working great. Let's give it another try. and it's working perfectly. I really like the fingerprint scanner, even though it's on the back. I prefer to have them on the front. Oh well. Let's go into the battery settings. We have an intelligent power saving mode right here, and I suggest you activate it because the battery really isn't that good. Let's check out the storage, and here's the bad news. The memory is split up into two partitions, so we have an internal phone storage and a phone storage, which is not so good. I really don't know why they still do this nowadays. Next up, let's go into the display settings, and right here we can find some S-View cover settings. Now this is for the smart cover, and we have, for example, an analog clock right here. Let me just give it a try. Let me put it into the smart cover, and when I close it, there we have it. We can see an analog clock, which is nice, and we can also choose a digital clock style. It looks very nice, and we can also change the background colors, whatever we like. So this is a very nice feature. Let's see what else do we have in the settings. Back there we have the dual card SIM settings right here. Of course, we can choose which one of the SIM cards is supposed to be the data SIM card, and when I go back and into, no, not data usage, I'm sorry, let me go into more, let me go into cellular networks, and right here we can choose which kind of network type we prefer, if we want 4G, 3G or 2G. I think that pretty much covers the general settings. Let me go into the engineer mode for you. Let's check out the band mode. Let's go for SIM1, and we can see it is a quad band right here. Those are all the supported 3G frequencies, and let's check out the LTE modes. We have band 1, band 3, band 7, and we also have band 20, which is fantastic news for everyone in Germany. Let me get out of there and let me go into yet another test mode. Right here we can test pretty much everything, but I just wanted to show you a couple of things. For example, the fingerprint scanner. I just wanted to show you what this scanner actually sees. Now there you have it. This is my fingerprint, so this is not some sort of bullshit. It is really working great. We can also test, for example, the compass. I don't know how accurate it is, but it seems to be working, and we can also calibrate the compass right here. If you're having trouble with the compass or whatever, this is what you have to do. Let me get out of there. That should cover it. Next up, let's test some Google apps. Where are my Google apps? Let's test YouTube. Let me turn down the volume. It is loading. Let's just play a random video right here. Again, we have to wait to skip the ad. 3, 2, 1, 0, skip the ad. Let me go into the settings and check the quality, and we can see that it can play a video playback up to 720p. Of course, we can also watch in full screen, and it's looking great and smooth. So YouTube is a real pleasure. Let's get out of here. The Play Store comes pre-installed, and of course it's working just fine, so no problem at all. And let's also test Google Maps. And it found my location right away. Now that tells us that the Google location services are working just fine. Let me go and let's try a Street View. It's loading, and Street View is also working just fine. We can do a little zooming, and we can also switch into a compass mode. So this tells us that the magnetic field sensor is definitely working. So much about the Google apps. Let's see what can we test next. Let's check out Antutu. Let me go into my history, and we can see my best result was 48,598 points, which is very cool, close to 49,000. I also got a 46,000, and a 43,000. It always depends on how many apps you have running in the background or whatever. Let's check out some info. We can see it has the MT6752 and the Mali T760 right here, an HD resolution, rear camera 13 megapixels. Let's go into the multi-touch test. Let's give it a try, and we have a 5-point multi-touch. And let me scroll all the way down to check out some of the sensors. Now here are all the sensors, and for some reason Antutu and also other apps think that this phone has a pressure sensor, but I highly doubt that this is true because I'm not getting any readings from the pressure sensor. Let's go into the sensor box to test some of the sensors. Let's see what we have here. We have the accelerometer, also known as the G sensor. We have a light sensor. Let's give it a try. We have 300 luxes right here, and as you can see, it is working great. What else do we have here? We have an orientation sensor. We also have a proximity sensor. It's all working great. No gyroscope sensor, no temperature. Of course we have a sound sensor, so the microphone on the bottom is working. And we have the magnetic field sensor. I already showed you the compass before. And here's the pressure sensor, but it says no change in data detected. I think this is just bullshit. There is no pressure sensor. Let's check out what CPU-Z has to say. We can see that it has 8 cores running at a maximum speed of 1.7 GHz. And again, we have all the sensors here. And again, we all think every app thinks that it has a pressure sensor. Let's get out of there. Let's check out Nina Mark II. I'm not gonna run the test, I'm just gonna show you the result. The best test I ran was 58 frames per second, and it's an OpenGL 3.1. Let me clear some memory, and let's do a quadrant standard test. And like always, I'm gonna do a jump cut. Almost done. And the score is 20,977 points. Let's get out of there. What else do we have here? Let's check out the browser real fast. Let me go into my bookmarks. Let me load the BBC home page. And we're already loading the desktop side, and the zooming is no problem, scrolling is really fast, rotation speed is also very good, so browsing is a real pleasure with this phone. Let's also go into the gallery. Let me load some wallpapers, and they're loading really fast. Let me just scroll through them. And the black is really black, and I don't know if you can see this, but the colors and contrast look really cool on this phone. Also very nice viewing angles. Next up, let's do a little test video playback. This is my standard 1080p video, and of course it's running very smoothly, so video playback up to 1080p is definitely not a problem at all. Let's get out of there. Let's check out the music player to give you an idea how the media speaker sounds like. Let me play a song. If you ask me, this sounds really bad, but hey, it is very loud, so if you're using your phone as a navigation system, you can definitely hear whatever somebody is telling you. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's go into the camera app. Now the camera app has all the standard features that a MediaTek phone has. We have a normal mode, we have a live photo mode, we have a motion traction mode, we have a beauty phase, We have a panorama mode, and we also have a multi-view mode like this one. Let's just give it a try. Let me take a picture and let me move it, and let's see what that looks like. Here we have it. We have a multi-angle pictures right here, which is a very cool features. Anyway, what else can we test? Let's test out USB on the go. Let me just hook up my USB thumb drive. It will take a second, and it's mounting. So USB on the go is also working just fine. Anyway, I guess that pretty much covers it. Now let me tell you what I'm thinking about this phone. Here are my thoughts about this phone. The build quality is very good, and I really like the design. I think this is one of the best looking phones I had in a very long time. The display is also very good for an HD display. Of course, a full HD resolution would have been better, but nevertheless the colors, contrast, brightness and viewing angles are very good, and the whites are really white. The performance is very good. Almost 49K at Antutu is definitely a very high score. The Wi-Fi reception is just average. The GSM 3G and 4G reception and also the call sound quality I really can't complain about. The GPS is not so good. It is fast, and thanks to GLONASS it is very stable, but the reception strength is not so good and the accuracy can be a bit jumpy. The media speaker is not very good at all. It is loud, but it's not very clear, and there is no bass. The battery is not so good. If you are a power user, you might have a problem to get through the day. I did a Geekbench 3 battery test. If you're interested in the result, please check on my blog. The camera picture quality is something you need to judge for yourself. You can find a link in the video's descriptions if you're interested. The LED flash is just okay. I've seen better, but I've also seen a lot worse. The fingerprint scanner works very well, but I don't like the fact that it's on the back of the phone. I prefer to have the fingerprint scanner on the front. I don't like that it has no notification LED. A gyroscope sensor would have been nice, even though it's not a must-have. And I also don't like that they split the memory into 2 partitions. Anyway, last but not least, let me try to show you the viewing angles of this phone and do a little gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again.